when you think about your career in the future, what kind of fears come to mind for you? Ah, that's nice, Judy. We like home learning. I like that. Right, career fears, everyone. What are we thinking? When you think about you and your career in the future, what kind of, oh, Stella's saying kind of staying up to date. Everything's moving so fast. Yeah, we definitely see that, Stella, from lots of people. Kind of staying up to date. Kind of sort of like a cannot, will I be able to keep up? Somebody saying to me privately, like, will I kind of always enjoy it? Is that like a lasting feeling? Anna saying kind of getting older. We're sort of staying up to date, so it's sort of like age times, I don't know, like the accelerated pace, I suppose. Like everything's going faster, I'm getting older. What else have we got? Um, uh, Sam saying million hours, no work-life boundaries, a certain level of seniority. Everyone works. What is that, Sam? It's almost like maybe it's like, like seniority and success and sort of challenging that narrative. Like what looks like success when you're senior isn't necessarily how I want to spend my time. I'll just kind of put like, I'm just gonna put like for that like success question mark. I'll do an arrow like that. What good looks like when you're senior is not necessarily how I want to sort of spend my time, but I still want to have that kind of success. What else have we got, everybody? How to manage job moves at different stages, Joe says. Someone else says, being made redundant, I had 4 final interviews, I haven't been offered. I'm now so scared. I've got nothing. Oh gosh, that sounds so hard. I'll just say that again, everyone, because I'm reading the comments. Because there's somebody in the community who's messaged me privately, made redundant, had 4 final interviews, not been offered, now really scared that they won't have anything to move on to and they're going to become stale in my knowledge. That's so hard for that person. The relevance thing coming up again, ageism coming up again. And kind of like the relevance AI is coming up a little bit. It's like AI and ageism are coming up. Financial planning, security, ageism coming up again, somewhat privately for me. What else have we got here? AI coming up again. AI and ageism seem to be the themes today. Ageism's come up again. Sorry, I can see all the private comments, everybody, and it's coming up quite a lot. Do you know what's interesting on ageism? So we did the career stage series, and I honestly have a like a passion. I would like us to do more with squiggly careers and later life careers. I think that there's a lot more work to do in how we support people who are in kind of later life careers, both how we support the individual, think about their development, and how we work with organisations so they can extend careers. I think there's a lot of work to do. Anyway, we did the career stage series and we had career starters, continuers, changers, returners, and there was another one. I can't remember. Anyway, there were 5. And I thought, oh, I bet Squiggly Career Continuers will be the most popular, as in that's the one that is really about like later life careers, extending careers. And I thought, oh, that I really wanted it to be the most popular because I really want to do more work in that space. And I thought, oh, that will be the evidence that the need is there. And it wasn't. It wasn't the most popular one of all the kind of 5 within that series. I think someone in the team might tell me, but I think it might have been the career changes one, or maybe the career returners one that was most popular. But anyway, I think there was lots of work to do, and I would like to do it on squiggly careers and kind of tackling ageism. What else have we got in here? I've had a health challenge. Will I ever get back on it? Staying relevant, that's coming up again. I'm just getting everyone's career fears. Alison says having to earn stars again. Again, it gets harder as it gets older. It is interesting, isn't it? This like relentless pace of work, but then the sort of realization that maybe as we get older, that's just not how we want to spend our time. It's kind of like a tension, isn't it? Like a tension between how you want to spend your time and the way that work is going in terms of pace. We can change it, everyone. We're a powerful community. We can change it. Oh, Claire says sending love to the person who messaged about redundancy. I agree. Okay, lots of love and support going on in here for everybody. Yes, please, later life career. I want to work on it, RG. I want to work on it. Okay. Lots of people giving support for. Well, we will get there. We've got new book to work on and things like that. But it is in my head that we should do more on later life careers. Okay, so career fears, shared career fears. I would say the 3 themes from us as a community are kind of the ageism piece that's has come up. I think these two are quite connected. There is some specific stuff about AI, but there is I think it is also the staying up to date. AI just makes it harder, I think. Like I think that probably the fear is like, am I going to have a career that feels like meaningful and useful to me as I get older? And am I going to be able to stay up to date? Seem to be our kind of our kind of shared challenges. So the point of the podcast really was to say, in a context of change, staying up to date, context of change, and that also feeling quite challenging. What can we do so that we feel back in control of our career? Because change can often feel like it's being done to you, and your career isn't necessarily developing in the way that you want it to. So we want to do things that, make us feel in control of our career development, help us to feel like, despite all this stuff that's going on and all the fears that we're surrounding, we still feel in control of our future. That was the idea of the podcast, really. So there were 3 activities, and I think we just work through this together. So the first one is, okay, let's not just read those World Economic Forum reports about skills that we're supposed to develop, because that's fine, but that might not be right for our career, for our future. It's kind of, I think this is a bit like, loads of you have probably done I can never say it, but ikigai. You know what I mean, that one. Loads of you have probably done that. I think this is like a version of that that's just a bit more specific to Squiggly. So we're going to do a Venn diagram, which is my version of ikigai. You know what I mean. So let's draw the Venn diagram for a moment. The first thing we're going to do in the Venn diagram, if you've got a pen and paper, I think just take a couple of minutes to do this now. We'll work it through together. So the first bit of your little Venn diagram is skills that you want. So these are about things that you enjoy, things that you value, things that you want to be known for. So regardless of who I work for or where I work or what the world wants from me, the things, if I could just selfishly focus on the skills that I want, it would be career development. Like I just love it. Like I just love doing it. It would be I think like creating. I wrote a LinkedIn post about that yesterday. I love creating and being creative. That's great. And I like innovating. They would be my 2 things. Like regardless of like everybody else, like just be selfish for a moment. What are the skills that you're like, this is what I enjoy. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to spend time doing. So just take a moment and write down what are the skills that you want for you selfishly. Like I think these are like selfish skills. I don't care who needs it. I want to get really good at innovating, creating, and career developing. What do you think? Thanks, Claire, for phonetically ikigai. 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 That is how we do it. Thanks, Claire. Okay, so the first one is skills you want. What skills do you want? You're just going to write them down. So maybe I'll just write mine down so we kind of captured them here. So I want to be brilliant at career development. I want to be great at being a kind of creator, creating, creative, all that kind of stuff. And I want to be brilliant at innovating, like seeing things with fresh eyes, creating stuff that people have never done before. Like that's me. You write yours down. All good. Your career, your choice. Next, we're going to think a bit more about what skills does your work need you to be good at. So this is kind of, I think, the role or the profession that you are in at the moment. What does that need you to be really good at? You might have the same answers, you might have different answers. So obviously for me, for example, I do need to be good at career development. I also need to be good at leadership, though my team might be like, you could be better, probably. What else do I need to be good at I need to be good, I'm trying to think about the right thing, the right way of phrasing it. Like there's some commercial stuff I need to be good at to like, grow a business, run a business. There's like some commercial business model-y stuff that I need to be good at. And I need to be good at building relationships because of the work that we do, whether it's like interviewing people on podcasts or like other stuff. They're like some things that I have to be good at for the type of work I do. What are yours? What does your work need? Let me know in chat. I'm very intrigued. What do you think? Not you. What does your work need you to be good at? You're like, okay, that is something that in order to be kind of good at my job, good in the function that I work in, what does my work need me to be good at? Relationships and detail. Great, Jess. Attracting funding. I love how specific these are. Anna's got loads of slashes. I love Anna's. Networking, planning, coaching, relationships, learning. Holly's juggling. Oh, relationships coming up too. Just thinking about podcasts that we might have done on that could help with. Strategic thinking, relationships, analyzing data, clear comms, common pressure. Okay, all good, all good. So there's things that the kind of the work needs. And then I think there is, so I always think like there's like zoom in, zoom out. So zooming in is like what you want. And then zooming out is what your work needs. And then I think you kind of got to go forward a little bit and think in terms of like the world, like go bigger. It can be like the world you work in or even bigger. What skills does sort of the world value? If you were to think about, and we should probably have a lot of these that are quite similar. But if you're thinking about the world right now, what skills are most important for people? So my perspective, I think there is definitely, I think learning, like you've got to be a good learner. So I think like learning is a really important skill. I think technical, this is a rubbish word, but I think like technical proficiency, like I think you do need to know how to use like AI tools. I think the world, like I think we do need to have experimented with different tools and done that. I think that is important. But I also think I think there is something, I think the relationship building is really, really important. So in the context of technology and AI and all that kind of stuff, I think human relationships and actually creativity only become more important. That's just my perspective, okay? Like you can use here you can use things like the World Economic Forum, which says like we need to be good at problem solving, and there's a whole list of things there. But from your perspective, what do you think if you think about you, what do you think the world values? What are your skills that you think are important? Like I say, there's some actual research on this, but I'm sort of more interested in your perspective, everybody. Creative thinking, critical thinking, strategic thinking, yeah. Selena, yeah, I'm kind of with the empathy thing. I think that the sort of the more technical we get, the more people who can create strong human relationships are, I think that's really important. I think it's sort of, I think when you think about leadership in the future, I think that becomes an even bigger like part of leadership is the like the human connection, empathy, influence, resilience, tech, kindness. Yeah, Anna working with uncertainty. I always flag Sam Conniff for that. I think his work on uncertainty is really good. So if anybody who kind of is uncertainty is coming up as a skill to be able to manage, I would highly recommend What's Farzana saying? Farzana, I'm still thinking about your nosebleed comment, but I'm going to replace that with this one. With the speed of changes, being tech and process agnostic. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, not getting too fixed. On that, Farzana's point is really interesting. Like actually the skill is, I think the skill here is to be adaptable. We call it AQ. There is a very good TED talk on adaptability, and I've forgotten the name of the person who it's a really good, it's a short TED talk. And I've had a chat with the woman who did it. It's really good. And I always remember she talks about the backwards bike experiment. Sarah gets really bored with me talking about the backwards bike experiment. But the idea is like there's like videos on YouTube of this. But the backwards bike thing is people who have re-engineered a bicycle so that when you go left, it goes right. And when you go right, it goes left. And the point is that it retrains your brain to sort of learn again, because we often operate on autopilot. And if you apply that to like technology, we use the same tools in the same way every day, and we start to, we just operate on autopilot. So the backwards bike experiment is almost like if you re-engineered your day so that you weren't using you weren't using Microsoft Teams for all of your meetings, you started to use something else instead. Or, you didn't have meetings that were 60 minutes long. Every meeting was 15 minutes. Like if you re-engineered your day, like the backwards bike, then it's a forcing function for your learning. I think that's interesting. Oh yeah, people are saying, yeah, it's Sam Conniff, Uncertainty Experiments. Just follow him on YouTube. I think he's got a new book coming out. I'm pretty sure he has got a new book coming out on it. Anyway, Natalie Freito, thank you, Sarah. That is exactly who I'm talking about. It's a really good TED talk. And it just speaks to Farzana's point around actually, I think part of staying relevant in the future is not being too attached to any particular technology because it's going to change quite a lot. Right. So what is the point in doing this exercise? What is the point? The point is for you to see similarities in the skills. So for your future, my pitch to you is if you want to reduce fear about your career, you need to keep investing in your skills. Okay. Your skills are not going to stay relevant unless you keep investing in them because there's lots of change. So something you are in control of is investing in your skills. What you need to decide is which skills are most important for you to invest in. And I think that is a personal thing. Like, I don't think we should look at lists of skills. I think you should think what is most important to me. And what you're looking for in this exercise, I think if you're trying to prioritize where you invest time, I think you want to look at what are the skills that keep coming up in these different circles. So for me, and I didn't do this intentionally at all. I was just thinking whilst I was talking to you, but I think this creating thing has come up quite a few times, and probably the relationship one. Now, of course, I might choose one of the other ones because it's not come up in three circles, but it's still important to me. But just looking up the ones that I look at here and go, in terms of what I want, what my work needs, and what's going to be relevant for the world, creativity and building relationships seem to be two skills for me that stand out. And so if I'm feeling overwhelmed about my career and what I'm supposed to invest in, that signals to me that they are two skills that I should be very intentional about investing in. So that's kind of point number one here is like pick the skills that are most relevant across these three areas. Before I move on to the next bit, any questions about that? Questions about that? Sam says, would you choose to focus on the skills you're most interested in or the ones that you think you need to improve the most? I think it's your choice, Sam, really. I think the point of this model is for you to sort of reflect on skills, like have a different filter to look at your skills. And like you might pick obviously career development. For me, that's a choice. I'm going to keep investing in career development because it's a choice. It might not be what the world needs, but it's what I want to do. So and some of these you might have a different competency level, like my commercial skills not that competent. So, but I could choose to make that stronger. I think it's interesting though. It might be interesting for you to reflect on if you've got skills in your circles that are important, but you're not investing in, then could you work with some other people that might be good at that stuff? Like I think it can take you to new places. But Sam, I think it is your choice, really. It's your choice. We are just using this as a filter for your future so that you can decide what you want to develop in. So you're not like being told by other people. You're not doing it because there's a new report on LinkedIn. Like you are making a decision. This is something you are in control in. Jess says, what if the ones, sorry, it keeps moving. Got AI summaries coming up. Jess, what if the ones under you don't overlap with the world work categories? Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. So Jess is saying, but what if I've got loads of stuff here? That don't connect with the world. I think that's still okay. I think that's probably where you'll create possibilities for your future. I think what that might mean is you're going to have to do a lot of development outside of your work, like side projects and things like that. You're going to have to, because you're not necessarily going to do it in your work. It might mean you need to connect with new communities because you might not be spending time with people who are doing those things at the moment. And I think it might mean that what you do in the future looks quite different to what you do today. All of which are fine. But that's, I think, some of the implications of if you've got a bit of a mismatch with skills that you want, but that aren't connected to the work you do today. Right, everyone, I'm going to move to the next one because we've got 5 minutes left and I want to make sure that we fit it in. Second thing that I think you are in control of in terms of your future career and that you can start right now is stretching your strengths. So if here you pick the ones you want. So for example, if I pick creating career development and building relationships, if they're my three that I pick from this, what you now need to do is really focus on, well, how do I stretch those strengths? And the aim here is, you're investing in those skills and you're kind of creating opportunities to use them more. So I'm not waiting for permission because who knows like how long you're going to be waiting. We don't want to do that. I want you to kind of create opportunities to use these skills and strengths more. So the way I always think about this is strength stretching. This is something that I have done a lot in terms of my development. Is definitely helped me. So the way that you do it is, first of all, you take the skill from the previous bit, like one of the skills you want to be known for. So if I think about my relationship building capability, and the first thing you ask yourself is, how could I do it more and do it better in the job that I'm already in? Like, this is like territory of job crafting here. How could I do it more, do it better in the job that I'm already in? So for example, I think I could plot the five, I could maybe like five new relationships or five influential people in, an average week at work for me. And I think I could manage those relationships more intentionally. So maybe I could profile them, like could kind of maybe like disc profile them, or I could kind of use AI to sort of profile them. And I could think about, well, how do I change my approach so that I'm having a more kind of effective relationship with each individual, rather than just Helen arriving in the same way for every conversation. I could be a bit more intentional. You'll have your own skill, you'll have your own ideas, but the point is, how could you do more with that skill in the job you're already in? It's like they're kind of incrementally getting better. It's the easiest place to start. It's not going to be the most significant for your career, but it is the easiest place to start. Then you want to think a little bit more about maybe like the department that you're in. Uh, Sorry, something's going on with my Zoom. Hopefully you can all see me. I think someone's signing into my Zoom. Interesting. Then you want to think about the department that you are in. How could you use that skill more, like maybe across a wider team? So could you, like if I was in Microsoft, for example, if I'm working in the marketing function, could I use that skill to support somebody else, like my relationship building skill? Could I use that more in sort of a wider team? Then I want you to think about the organization you're in. Is there an internal network, an event, or an initiative that you could practice that skill with a little bit more? So, for example, in my relationship building, you tend to build relationships with people that are a bit like you. So maybe I could be really intentional about connecting with different functions and different people. Might help me develop that skill even more. And then you want to think about outside of your current context. Might be your company or industry. How could you use that thing you want to be known for more? So my relationship building, I might think, well, I'll use that by, going to events like I did this week. Like, that was outside of Amazing If, but I went and networked. I met some really interesting people. I'm not gonna get distracted, but I did develop my relationship building skills by going to some of the events that I've gone to this week, and that was outside of work. And the whole point here is, it's in your control. And the more you stretch your strengths, the bigger and better they become. And this is when it starts to be like a magnet for your career, because you just get to do more of the things that you enjoy. That's the whole point of this bit. So really, I would just think, how can I stretch your strengths? The thing I would say with this is not a one and done thing. Like, you don't go, I'm just going to do it better in my job tomorrow and that's it. Like, this is a continual investment. You decide that skill that is relevant for you, and you have to keep stretching it. So I would probably, almost on a quarterly basis, I would think, how am I stretching that skill? And I would create the opportunities. I wouldn't wait for somebody to like say I can do it. It's your career, so we want to create as much as possible. Last but not least, and I'll go through this relatively quickly. So to reduce career fear, we are going to decide what we want to develop in. We are going to stretch that strength as much as we can, and we are going to take control of that rather than like somebody else doing it for us. And then developing with other people. This feels nice to do, and you will learn most from other people anyway. So a couple of ways that we said in the podcast, which I think they're quite fun. So the first thing we called, it was Skill Snap. So this is where you go around a team, and if I had more time, I'd do it with you now. This is where we kind of talk about one of the skills. Let me go here. We talk about one of the skills that you want in a team meeting. Imagine you each went round and you said, what is a skill that you want to invest in for you in your career? And you all go round, and what you're looking for is where two people, might even be more than two people, to be honest, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, you've all got the same thing you want to invest in. Then you can buddy up and develop it together. Really nice way of committing to your development, learning more from other people. We also talked about skill swap. So maybe you have got a skill that I want, and vice versa. So we could spend some time together. You can teach me, I can teach you. Really helpful way of learning and developing. And the third thing is to go and get a skill sponsor. So tell somebody about the skill that you want to develop in. So I might say, I really want to invest in my relationship building skills. I'd really appreciate your support. And that is somebody that will encourage you, give you ideas, spot opportunities. Like that skill sponsor is somebody who's very specifically invested in you and that ability that you want to improve in. I think it's a nice way of thinking about sponsorship. It's a much more specific way of thinking about sponsorship. So everybody, Sarah has put in chat the pod sheet. So if you want to work through some of these ideas after today, it's all summarized in the pod sheet. You'll see the link in chat. But I think main messages, I think the uncertainty isn't always easy, and that is the reality in a squiggly career. So the more you can take control of it, I feel like the less that fear has control of you. And I really think deciding your skills, investing in the development and doing it with other people is a really big way that you can take control in the context of uncertainty. And so I hope that is helpful.